2011, the year everything changed. In gaming, thanks to Toys to Life, and the death of Spyro the Dragon. All thanks to Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. What up everyone, TrueBlue here, and today we're talking Skylanders. Skylanders is probably one of my favorite games going up. I played it a ton. I have a ton of figures. And while I did not know much about the Spyro series, I did know they were gaming characters, and I liked having little figures before, Amiibo came out, kind of did that. I spent way too much money, played this game way too much. Toys to Life, obviously, you're spending so much money to get more and more figures of OCs that didn't exist before, with few exceptions. Now, this game, over a decade old, like that, it launched in 2011. That was a long time ago, which is crazy to say. But these toys, which they don't pose, they're quite literally just statues, have grown nostalgic. A lot of people have talked about Skylanders, because a lot of people have grown up playing it, and I thought I'd kind of get into the ring. So, back in 2023, this video took a really long time to produce. I played for the entire first game, front to back, in one session. One 8-hour-long session. Never doing that again. Unless this video does well and you want me to play for giants. Let me know. Subscribe and comment, let me know. Well, that isn't the point of this video, and I just want to reflect on the game. I kind of just did that for like a little challenge to add on to the video, so it's not just, here's Skylanders. So this video is more of a reflection on this initial entry in the series, but I will go over the mind-numbing and insane process that is playing this game for 8 hours straight. Especially a decade-old game. Oh boy. Anyway, for those who don't know, Skylanders is a game made by Activision. It's a Toys to Life game, so you have little figures, and you would have a little portal. You put them on the portal, they go in the game. They have little chips inside, so you can scan them into the game, and they can be read, and they act as playable characters. Each one are different characters. They all have their own abilities, their own upgrade trees, certain missions relegated to them, with their own upgrade paths, whatever. Basically, each one is an unlockable character that you need to purchase your own figure for. It's a game where the content is locked behind figures, rather than microtransactions, which those companies got really good at nowadays. They decided, we're gonna stick with just plastic toys, and you know what? The freaking thing worked. So again, the appeal of this is you have physical things going into a digital world. This was revolutionary at the time because it's not something we had seen back in 2011, but now it's kind of boring. Now, in order to actually play this game, you do need whatever console. I played the Wii version, obviously, so the graphics look so bad. And you plug in a device called a portal. It's just a reader, reads the characters in, and the game will crash for you a lot if you're playing the Wii version. I had like 6 crashes, 7 throughout this session, and I had to replay multiple. I'll get to that later, but now, Skylanders as a game, what is it? It's actually a simple puzzle platformer. By puzzle, I mean fit the square in the square hole, and there's no jump button. It is a 4Kids game, 100%, very much so. Super simple, don't expect some crazy, revolutionary gameplay. It is a kids game. The cool part really was just the toy and pretending you sent it to the game, and then getting scammed out of a ton of money because you just needed boomer. I have way too many toys. What? Just like a few. A bit more. Actually, a lot. A lot. I need help, but there's just a lot. But what about these figures? What about the appeal? Are the characters cool? Are the original characters that we were given actually cool? Yeah, I think they actually did a really good job with these characters. Here's some of the famous ones. You got Stealth Elf, Sonic Boom. Their names are not the best. Bash Drobot, Stump Smash. They're all pretty iconic nowadays. Some of them are relatively forgettable because they just kind of blend in. I mean, here's Flame Slinger. He's just an archer. He's just an archer. And here's Wrecking Ball. That's it. But excluding Spyro and Cinder, of course, because they actually had backstories and personalities beforehand, each of these while they don't really do much besides act as characters, you do get to see a bit of personality through a lot of text. You get some story behind them, especially as the games go on. They kind of develop the lore more and more for the characters. And with 32 unique characters that can all be purchased for like $10, level up, upgraded, there was a ton to do if you had all the characters. Not to get ahead of myself, but if you had later entry characters that were in this game, for example, here is Spyro from this game, here's Spyro from the third game. Each game had their own colored base, which is how you know. These characters who all appeared in the first game can be used with this one, and I didn't actually have some of them. For example, Eruptor here, I did not have his original version, so to play with him, I just used this one from Giants. On top of that, I actually, in the year 2023, when I recorded this, went out of my way and purchased characters I had never owned or played with in any sense. They didn't cost me too much. Probably like, for everything that I ended up buying for this video, probably like $50-$60. That's more than I spent on anything else, and I'm kind of disappointed to say that. But at the very least, to make up for it, I got Warnado, who ended up being probably my favorite guy to use throughout this whole run, because my favorite character, who only appeared in this game, Dino Rang, I did not have it in me to erase his level and all the history. I reset everyone to level 1 for this video, but I didn't for the original trio that came with the game, and Dino Rang because he is my favorite. But Warnado here has a nice close spot to my heart, making it very fun to get through this game with these new characters, because if I just had the old ones, I'd probably have gone insane, actually. They kept a little bit of sanity I had left in me. So obviously throughout this whole game, I used all the characters I could, and the age has unfortunately shown with some of them, as some of them did struggle to actually scan into the game or remain on the game for too long. It's decade-old tech, I'm not surprised, and it's not like I've been keeping them in the best storage. So, in simple terms, that's Skylanders. It really isn't anything too crazy by today's standards, but at the time, it was revolutionary, and I mean, everyone tried their hand at it afterwards. Disney, Lego, Nintendo, who is the only one still doing it. What about me? How did I actually feel about all this? Well, I'll just talk about the game play first, because that's what's most important to me as a gamer, as someone who plays way too much video games. For reference, I did play this on normal difficulty. I knew I was going to do a 1-session, 8-hour run. I did not want to be here any longer, so I just did normal and stuck with that. This game introduces you a lot to the world and lore, along with many things that never come back in the series. There's a lot of one-off things in this game that are not really retconned, but more or less forgotten in later entries. So for those big fans, there's some lore here. But the plot is relatively simple, and it ties in with the toys. So a villain named Kaos, voiced by literally Invader Zim, destroys the core of light. This is a magical device, and once destroyed, he is able to send all of your Skylanders that are available at Target, Walmart, and Toys R Us to your store shelves, and you must send them back by purchasing the game and placing them on your plastic portal. He also ends up literally killing someone named Eon, a portal master. He's important, but I just want to reference that in this kid's game, they literally kill someone and just keep going, and wow, that's kind of crazy. So the base game itself has 22 levels, but there's actually 26. If you spend even more money, you can purchase these giant pieces of plastic. They're levels. They came with a character and a magic item, but these are extra levels that are only playable if you have the figure. They unlock the level, and they're relatively longer than most of the other ones, but they're interesting. I didn't play them throughout the game as you're expected to. I actually play them afterwards because they come like level order wise. But when I was younger, I only had these two. So I did start with these because these were new content for me. I'll get to them later, of course, but just want to throw that out there. Anyway, Chapter 1, Shattered Island. You save a village from a tornado. Chapter 2, you save Callie. She's important. Besides that, actually the game crashes. It makes you replay the entire level to save Callie, just to add on to your playtime. Chapter 3, you meet a fairy and shoot some ships. Chapter 4, you finally find the eternal air source. Oh yeah, the goal of this is to rebuild the core of light, which needs a power source from each of the Skylander elements represented by the bases on the toys. Also, like a third of the way through this level, the game crashed again, so I had to restart it completely. Chapter 5, you stop an oil factory? Chapter 6, I literally don't know. Like, nothing happens. I don't remember. Finally, something interesting. Chapter 7, Leviathan Lagoon. I do want to talk about this one, because it introduced one of my favorite things about this game, and that's the boss encounters. Specifically, they're evil versions of the Skylanders of a respective element that you fight, along with this big attack from some mystical beast we don't see till the final boss. This one was the water one, so you fight water Skylanders, and it's actually a lot of fun. I really did like it, and I also, when I was younger, was really bad at games. I got stuck on this for way too long to admit. But looking back, these boss fights are really cool, and I'm glad there's 4 of these throughout the game, including the final boss. Now, I'm not going to drag out this video anymore. It's been so long in the making, I'm not going to just explain the plot of Skylanders. You can play the game or not play the game. I would recommend the latter, personally, but, but it's very simple, nothing too complicated. So, I'm just going to highlight anything that I found interesting. For one, Chapter 8 opens with this. wait. What was the objective? Okay. God. Also, it crashed at the very end of the level, so I had to replay the entire thing. Chapter 11. Another crash in the middle of the level. Chapter 16 crashed between loading screens when I had beat the level already, so I had to replay it in its entirety. Just adds on to the gameplay. Anyways, the levels themselves honestly blend in between each other. Besides just setting and enemies, there's nothing too crazy. Again, no real difficulty spike at all until the final boss, which I do want to talk about. So, you reach this giant dragon of the elements you had fought before. You fight those crazy evil Skylanders. The fight does drag out and is definitely longer than the other boss fights, but personally, it's my favorite in the entire franchise, as it's the only one that I feel like actually has challenge, and you can't just beat with the gimmick Skylander per game, because there was no gimmick Skylander. Skylanders were the gimmick, so you just have to kind of keep fighting. Here, I'll even play out the fight for you so you can see it. It was a lot of fun in my opinion, and probably the highlight of this game for me. Now, 8 hours in, you think I'd be celebrating, but I knew there's 4 more levels, so I just went straight to it. First one I did was the Darklight Crypt. I actually beat this one and the game crashed, so I didn't technically beat it. And knowing there's 3 more of these, I just called it quits. Look, I already played Skylanders. There isn't much new. There was one other level I hadn't played. But I can play when I do Giants, because Giants didn't have any. It has less levels. It's quicker. And if I ever get to that video, I'll do the pirate ship level. I don't even remember the name of it, but I'll do it. Anyway, final thoughts. 8 hours of Skylanders is insane, and, you know, looking back, it is not this legendary game that a lot of people put on pedestals, but it is interesting, and honestly, I did have fun. Like, I won't lie, I had fun playing through this game again. It was fun looking at these characters again. While it did not age the best, like, at all, it's still fun, and as a collector, having all these figures to collect with characters that I can get attached to in some way, shape, or form is a lot of fun. And the portal is still fun to slap toys on and see it appear in the game. Regardless of how old you are, it is still fun. Now, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. Probably not as crazy as I had planned initially, but I've been wanting to do this video for so long now. And at this point, I honestly didn't think it was going to happen, but I'm so glad I finally had the chance to sit down and work on it. So, for getting this far and watching this, thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. Really, I don't know why this was a project I really wanted to work on, but it was, so, hey. And with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching again. I'm so happy that I did this, and I'm very proud, or hopefully proud. I haven't edited the video yet, so I don't know how it actually turns out. Anyway, make sure you guys subscribing, helps the channel a ton. Like the video, tell me if you want to see me continue this series or do another game, maybe a shorter one that doesn't cost money. And with that being said, I wish you all a lovely day.